that first half of basketball really showed two top four sides going against each other. And then the third term happened, and I think we saw a different side of Adelaide that we have seen building. Would that be a fair assessment as to what we saw in third term today?
Well, I mean, I guess if you're talking about defense, I thought that, we just didn't have much of a rhythm in the first half. Whether it was energy, whether it was them, and you give them credit, whether it was us, whether it was our offense, whether it was defense, a whole different things. But I thought we really battled in the first half. And to only be down 3 at halftime was huge. And all we talked about was kind of getting our feet under us and trying to play Sixer basketball. And, I would say that our defensive energy, right? The quarter's 29-9. That's our best defensive quarter of the year, I think by far, and I think that's probably what you're seeing as something different and how we grew in that quarter with some different things that we did. And I think they scored 2 points the last 5 minutes of the quarter. You got to give a ton of credit to Z and Flynn and Tag Ting and Doolittle. He kind of had his way in the first half, but overall, collectively, everybody that played, it started with our defensive focus, and that led to some easy offense.
Well, JLA, Windler, and Doolittle had, 32 points of their first half points, and then you kept Doolittle to 2 points in the third term, and then you kept JLA and Windler scoreless for the remainder of the game. That's a very impressive performance from the defensive side of things.
Yeah, that usually means you'll win. They're really good players. They're talented players. We were mixing and matching with matchups, and we had a lot of switching going on. Collectively, though, I thought we ran back. I thought that, we contested the line, and then we really competed. Obviously, points in the paint were a problem today. I think we gave up 50, but they only got 4 in the third quarter. Everything we did in the third were the things that we wanted to talk about. That's what we're capable of, and we're still building. I just think that, we're trying to scratch that identity, and when we start to defend like that, then we're a really good team.
So, Dion, is that what Sixers basketball is, what we saw in that third term, in the sense of the defensive end clicking the way that it did, being able to hold an opposition to such a low total, and then also being able to capitalise at the offensive end, and not just through one player, but through multiple players as well?
Yeah, I mean, we've been working our asses off all year to kind of, we don't want to be complacent just because we're first. We know there's so much more in us that we can give both on the offensive end, the defensive end, and as you saw, you keep JLA scoreless, you keep Windler scoreless, and you try to keep, Doolittle to tough shots, which we did, and, one shot, you just get a rebound, you go out and run and make threes. Like, that's what we wanted to do, and that's what we did.
Well, with 17 wins on the board now, I think we can start to talk about the sense that, this is the most amount of wins this team's had since 2018, since they went all the way to the finish line against Melbourne United. And I guess it's one of those things with is that what drives the club in the sense of, making sure that you don't get complacent, is the fact that you might have 17 wins on the board, but the reality is that this whole thing isn't won just yet?
No, 100%. I mean, we still got, I think, 12 games to go. There's still a lot of improvement that we want to get better as, and complacency is not a thing here in our kind of culture. And we're just going to keep moving and keep ticking over. So we'll have a day off tomorrow and then get back to the training track and keep building on.
Mike, was the paint a problem early? Is that something that you needed to rectify? Because Perth have done it for generations, pulling teams inside, and that's something that you flipped the script there quite emphatically, but that was one of the issues early.
Yeah, I mean, they're a tough team, man. I mean, they play fast and they shoot threes and then they send 5 to the glass, right? I mean, there's a formula for them that they believe in, and they want to shoot a bunch of threes. And, it's about getting your offensive efficiency at one end then allows you to hopefully set your defense, and you can guard a little bit different way. And then in that third quarter when we opened things up, right, we were very, very good on offense, and that allowed us to set our defense and then really, be able to grind on them a little bit, There was a lot of really spectacular individual efforts, and I've talked about a whole bunch of guys, DJ's, his leadership, his shooting, and I still was trying to get him more shots out there, and like Isaac White starting the third quarter has kind of been an interesting formula for us where we can kind of just sick him on the ball a little bit and go get him, and Bryce is playing a ton of minutes. He's scoring a bunch of points. He was not going to be denied tonight, and he had one turnover. Like, he had the look in his eye. At times he was telling us, like, get everybody out of my way. And I'm thinking, all right, what do you want me to do with the other 9 guys, Bryce? But he was locked in the zone, and he wanted to go. And, we're still getting to know him a little bit when he gets locked into that sort of thing. But I saw the look. I think our team saw the look. He wanted his teammates to shoot the open shots. He wanted everybody to be aggressive. But collectively, it started on the defensive end in that deal, and we cleaned up the boards, and we kept him out of the paint, and, we got back in the third.
And on Bryce, we touched on him a lot. He basically sat 30 seconds in the first 3 quarters, didn't he? I mean, he just wanted to keep going, like you
The
said.
coach makes terrible decisions. It was much easier when I was an assistant in the NBA in my other life to say, hey, we should just sit Donovan Mitchell or Tim Duncan or, hey, it's time for him to come out. But, as a head coach, it's a little bit different when, he's locked in and he's looking at you like, I don't want to come out too, I've got to find those windows. I keep saying it all the time. We are growing as a team, and you're seeing people grow in their roles like Flynn and Whitey and Troy Brown, and they're handling the ball more. And, we're getting those screening actions on things. But, yeah, do I need to find those windows? Yeah. If you ask Bryce, I'm sure he'd say no. And that's the competitiveness, and that's what we love about him.
And Bryce has obviously been a bucket in this league for 10 years, but his playmaking is career best at the minute in terms of he's leading the league in assists, and he's not turning it over either.
Yeah.
Has that surprised you at all? Or
Not for me. Maybe DJ more. I'd like to hear DJ's answer on that, to be honest with you, because I knew Bryce really, really early in his career. I got 4 games against him last year. It was not a concern of mine when he wanted to join the 36ers, in the way our roster was constructed. I just think he's a really, really talented player. And I think he's really enjoying the point guard, and I think you'd have to ask him all those things. But, historically how he's played in Perth, DJ could answer that more than me.
We'll go to DJ then. Same question. Bryce leading the league in assists. You're riding shotgun with him.
Yeah. It's easy when someone draws so much attention and then you get a wide open look and all you got to do is make the shot. And we're all making shots, Flynn, myself, Isaac White. He's making the right plays, and that's how much gravity he draws. So it's not a surprise that he's leading the league in assists. So, he makes the right play every time and he's willing to do it.
DJ, you've always played with a lot of emotion, you wear your heart on your sleeve. You were playing with a lot of emotion today. You were having a few words with the Perth bench. Was there anything behind that, or is that just another game?
Well, Perth's our rival. Obviously, we understood what they did to us last time we played them at Adelaide 36ers Centre. Obviously, we got the win over there at Rack Arena, and then obviously Sunday now plays for them. So there's a bit of words with Sunday here and there, but nothing that people should click too much into.
And you're playing a different role. We've talked about it a lot already this season, but does that when you do step up and make these big plays and get on these runs, does that give you a bit more fire? Do you want to tell people about it a bit more?
No, not really. I just want to win. I've said it before. I've won twice in this league now, and it would feel cool to bring a championship to Adelaide, who's been starved for so many years. Obviously, 2018 was the last time they got any bit of hope, obviously, in a 5-game series, and that's one of the reasons I came here. Obviously, I won 2 with Sydney. I wanted to come here, change the culture. Obviously, when you can go get Bryce Cotton and the coaching staff we did, and you plug in different players, I think we've got the pieces. Now it's just on us to kind of keep executing, but we've got 12 more games to kind of keep growing as a group, and then hopefully whatever happens, but a championship's what I want.
Yeah, just quickly, DJ, you touched on Perth being your great rival. You've got a good sort of rivalry going with Sydney now as well, and you open up a new year against them, and They're the only team you haven't beaten yet this year, so I'm sure you're looking forward to that game in a few days' time.
Yeah, 100%. I'm actually looking forward to enjoying my day off tomorrow, and then kind of locking in because we've got a good 4 days to prepare for them, and obviously to open up the new year playing against a great team. And obviously, as you said, we haven't beaten them, so we'll do our due diligence, we'll do our scout, and come out here I think we play on a Saturday or a Friday night. Like, it's a prime time game. Like, it's going to be awesome, and there'll be no seats in the house, that's for sure.
A similar question to you, Mike. I mean, they are the one team you haven't beaten yet, and the first time they came to Adelaide, obviously they put in a great performance, and last time was a great contest. What are your thoughts on that contest?
Yeah, I mean, I'm totally focused on our group, to be honest with you. As long as my group's getting better and we're moving forward, I'm really excited about it. But, you love competition, and you love playing against great teams, and you love measuring yourself against competition and great teams and good teams and great players and, all those things that come along with that. And we've done the work to put ourselves in bigger games as the year goes on. That's part of our growth as a team and an organization, is to be in these type of games. And as we go on, because of all the work that we did in August and September and October and November, that we get to be in games like this in January and February and hopefully March. And, it's just another really good measuring stick. Does it mean that does it mean anything in the grand scheme of things? No, it actually doesn't. But, our competitiveness is to try to win. That's part of our job. And I want us to be the best version of ourselves at the end of the year. I'm extremely proud of where this group is and, where I think we can go. And, I'm focused on the third quarter. And before I stop talking, I will like to say, like DJ's role and things have changed, but his leadership and his commitment to the group and to me has been unwavering. And, I can't thank him enough for what he's doing. I think you see my confidence in him. He's not starting right now, which is a huge deal, but he's also finishing almost everything. And I finish quarters with him and I finish games with him because he's a leader and he's connected and he helps the group function. And I just couldn't be more thankful for him and what he does for the group. I would love for his teammates to pass him the ball more. That's a silent plea to get him the ball more. But, that's another thing. He won't say anything. Bryce won't say anything, but I can.
I'm not sure it was a silent plea, but I'm sure the message will get through. But just very quickly and lastly on DJ, the first thing that he said when he signed with Adelaide was that all he cared about was winning and he would just do whatever it takes to help his team win. And he's now following through with that, isn't he?
Well, yeah, it's been unwavering. I think DJ's message has been the same since the day he signed. Now, there's some of that history before I got here, but he's wants to win. He's got championship DNA and blood running through his veins, guys. That's what he's been a part of. That's what Bryce has been a part of. These other guys have been a part of really good teams and stuff. We rely on what they bring. And that's going to help us down the stretch. It's going to help us in those fourth quarters, big games, all those things. And us as a group still forming our identity. I still think that we have multiple levels that we can get to. I don't think that we've scratched the surface yet. That's what drives me, and what I'm excited about is to see where we are at the end of this, because we can still get better.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks very much.